Good afternoon and welcome to this AFL Tasmania NAB League All-Stars match here from UTAS Stadium. It is the North versus the South. My name is Tubes Taylor. I'm joined in the commentary box by my good mates Chris Rowbottom and Andrew Cooley. Good afternoon, gents. What are you expecting from this match, Rowie? G'day,
Tubes. Yeah, I'm pretty excited to see a couple of guys in particular running around this afternoon, and it's always good to get, I suppose, the most talented and elite end of underage footy in the one place at the one time. Some state bragging rights on the line, of course, North versus South. That's how they've been split up today. But you go through these lists and I'm excited to see Ollie Davis running around in the midfield for the Southern team. He's been rated a pretty high chance to get drafted, and I'm keen to see him go about his business and impress the scouts who are no doubt watching today. Sam Collins, the interceptor from North Hobart, keen to see what he can produce today. And Noah Holmes as well, who hasn't really been on many draft radars, but 193 centimetres, 100 kilos, big full forward who can take a big mark. Saw him recently tear up a school game, a state school grand final. I wonder if he can do it at this level. He's played some state league senior footy, but I'd love to see him tear up this game as well. For the Northern team as well, Sanders, Dakin and Chugg are probably the three to watch, but these games can throw up a few types that maybe weren't on the radar before, but can make a name for themselves in these All-Stars games.
Yeah, absolutely. Andy Cooling, you've been casting your eye across both sides. What have you noticed before the game starts?
I suppose the thing that really stands out is the TSL senior football experience, very much with the South. The bulk of their squad's been fairly well represented in the TSL this year. The North probably not quite so much, a lot more in the development league up there. Rowie's listed a few who've been kind of playing in the seniors up there, and Dakin, Chugg, Sanders, they're going to be the key movers. But as we've touched on, whilst the North-South rivalry is fantastic, and hopefully all the boys out there lean into it today, a lot of the main focus of the day is these young draft prospects stamping their case, showcasing their talents to the scouts and recruiters out there watching, and a great stage to do it on for them.
You do mention the TSL there, Andy, and there's, in the South, it's 12 players from North Hobart, 9 from Clarence, 2 from the Tigers / Kingborough, and 1 from Lauderdale. In the North, it's 11 from Launceston, the Lonnie Blues up there, 6 from North Lonnie, 3 from the Northwest at Wynyard, 1 at Penguin, 1 in Devonport, and 1 from Longford. The young man from Longford is, of course, Lockie Mitchell, who's actually playing TSL footy at Launceston as well. So Launceston with all the representatives there for the northern side. Now today we've got special jerseys that have been designed just for today's match. It'll be yellow versus brown, the North in the yellow and the South in the brown, or maroon as you called it earlier in the day.
Yeah, deep burgundy perhaps you could even go with for the Southerners. But you touched on that spread of TSL club representatives. And what about Clarence and North Hobart? Yeah. 21 players between the two teams.
Of the 24 that are listed.
Of the 24 from the Southern team. So football factories, those clubs at the moment, producing some elite young talent. So it'll be interesting to see a couple of overages playing in this match today as well. Ethan Jackson, we mentioned, from the South, and Elijah Reardon, who's outside his draft year, but some interest in him from around the trap. So he's been included just to show what he might be able to produce.
Any insight where that interest might be coming from?
Oh, I don't know which clubs in particular, but he has impressed in the TSL this season for the Tigers, and I think teams like his use and bounce off half-back. So we'll have a keen eye on him this afternoon.
Looks like Harry Island in the ruck for the South. For the North, Michael Stingle. Sorry, you were about to say
I'm really looking forward to watching Ollie Davis again this afternoon. This kid's seriously exciting talent. Probably the lead of our draft prospects, and expect him to be very busy in the midfield here this afternoon.
So underway in this NAB League All-Stars match here in Tasmania. Quick kick out comes from the North. They drive it inside forward 50 for the first time. Punch from behind came from Alomes. Out the back now, a chance for Collins, who handballs off to a running player. And the South are going to repel here. Attack on the footy from Big Harry Island. It's a long way from his arms down to his feet. And we will see a boundary throw in.
some nice things in the game on Sunday. A big Harry Island for North Hobart as his side got over the top of Glenorchy. Thought he acquitted himself pretty well, giving spells in the ruck in that game as he competes again. Was beaten by Elphinstone on this occasion. Trying to charge through was Davis. Now Gardner, he's immediately dumped there by Chilcott. Burrowing through, and the handball finds its way to Darcy Gardner. Squares it out to the wing. The mark taken by Dominic White. Chips up to the half forward in space. And Jake Steele, who looks up, skews it a little off the side of the boot to centre half forward. First chance there for John Menzies. Couldn't quite bring it down. The numbers favouring the North out the back, and they should be able to sweep it clear here. The kick will just bounce in play, and a throw in at half forward.
So a little slippery early here at UTAS Stadium. There was a small amount of rain about for the NAB AFLW game a little earlier. But it's a pretty fast draining ground here, the UTAS Stadium. Boundary throw in at half forward for the South. Quick tap down, couldn't quite grab it, was Jackson. The handball came out from Sanders. Diving on it, we'll see another stoppage here at half forward. No, the umpire lets it go on. Ethan Jackson in there with the headband. That's one thing I've noticed, Rowie, about these younger boys. A lot of headbands getting out there.
Yeah, they love the growing the hair out and throwing a headband in, or tying it back, or tying it up, or slicking it behind the ears.
Out it comes for Sam Tilley. His kick goes in towards forward 50, but it's mopped up nicely by Blakemore. His handball came out to another South player, and they drive it forward again. Whitney couldn't quite take the mark. Chance now for Aloms. Handball came out from Gardner. Into space here. Jackson spinning out of trouble. It's clever use of the footy. Going backwards to go forwards. The South string a couple together. Pepin off to that man, Sam Collins, who's a good user of the footy, but this time his foot lets him down, and Foley takes it over.
Sam Foley, defensive 50, sends it up towards half forward with a searching kick over all the heads there. Angus Jeffries leading up at it for the North.
One player not taking part, sadly, this afternoon is Jackson Callow from North Launceston, rated a pretty high chance to be drafted as well. Only played the 6 or 7 games in the State League this year, but has been super impressive at centre half forward, and has played a little bit down at half back as well, and has looked very, very likely this year.
As this one's worked forward by Foley, fisted away, and a chance for the South to get back on it. Defensive handball. Eventually they're going to work their way out. Collins back in for a second crack at it. Gave it to Pepin. Under pressure here was Baker Smith. Eventually it's worked out. Chilcott. The North chip it forward. Have they got a target to mark? They do. It's reeled in down there by Ryan Whitney, who gives the quick handball off, and a shot on the run from 40 is bending, but not quite enough through for the first score of the game.
I think that was Sam Foley there, Andy. So the South will bring it out. Short kick on to Baker Smith. They've worked him out wide here. Manning the mark is Lockie Cohen. Boy from Devonport. Kick long up the wing. That should have been a free kick against Pepin. Dixon got it out. Now the North move it forward again. Oh, the old wrong foot there from Lockie Cohen. Goes inside forward 50 again at the back of the pack. That was a good effort there by Aloms. North work it forward. Dakin with the kick into the pocket is untoward, out of bounds.
Throw in. North attacking early on here, looking for the game's first goal. It was their female counterparts who won the earlier game today over the South. Getting up by a couple of goals in a bit of an arm wrestle, that one. Tough conditions, which have kept on into this one. A little bit of rain about in Launceston today as the deep throw back into the 50 arc should be taken away here by the South. The kick coming out from Chaplin, and he found his man in Ethan Jackson in half back. A little bit of it early. Jackson decides to switch things up, and he'll send it across to Will Collins. Collins just with a short little kick, barely makes the distance, but good structural work off the ball here by the North, just holding the South up as they try to rebound and force them to go long down the line. A high flight, that one came from Steele. Fell out the back where it's picked up and might fall for low, but the South quickly back on it. Here's Ollie Davis. He gives the handball off, combining nicely with Pepin. And now it's Harry Island swinging them forwards, but it's a poor kick and chopped off by Morris.
You don't give it to your ruckman to kick, do you? As Morris takes it at the half-back line. He's pretty skilled, though, Harry Island. Morris kicking long up the wing. Big fly, good contested work. Roving it beautifully was Chilcott. Punched away nicely by Foley, and he'll get a free kick because he was copped a little high there. He'll have to give it back, Baker. So Baker Smith sends it back to that man that got the free kick. Sam Foley. Short one is on. Finds a teammate there in Chilcott. Chilcott's kick didn't make the journey. Low, around the corner with a little bender. Which way does it bounce? It bounces untowardly, and they've got another behind.
So the North just doing the bulk of the attacking for now. Samuel Collins chips it out, and here is Elijah Reardon. Kick was a poor one though, he's turned it straight over. A little push in the back there on Chaplin, but he finds his target anyway in the form of Jaden Hines, who'll go back and see if he can get the first goal of the afternoon. Just some poor disposal coming off the half-back line there from Elijah Reardon. He's only a pretty silky player, uncharacteristic.
Tried to bite off a bit more than he could chew there. He didn't have to send that burner. He could have just gone long down the line. So be a shot on goal from Jaden Hines.
Let's fly from 40. Hooks it a little. It'll just stand up at the top of the square, but it's a good, strong grab taken there. Beautifully done by Jonty McIvor. And he should go back from here and kick the first goal of the afternoon.
Well, Jonty McIver's taken that from about 3 deep there. It's a strong grab inside the real 10-metre mark almost. The boy from Wynyard should make no mistake. He tries the check side here and bashes it into the post.
That's a bad miss.
It's an interesting one with Reardon, isn't it? That turnover, he knows he's been selected in this game because there might be a bit of interest. He knows he's the overager. He knows he has to impress. It's an interesting mindset, isn't it, when you come into these games knowing that there are eyes on you?
Yeah, it's. I suppose that the coaches have gone and say, well, you're going to look your best if you play a team game. That leads to you playing your best football.
Yeah.
But very tough for the individual to not just try and maybe just show off their skills and try for a few things that might not be the optimal team decision, but could look very good on a highlights reel.
No, absolutely right. As the South grab hold of this one, Riley Ashland gets ridden into the ground. We'll see another ball up just on the right half-forward line for the North. Bottom of the pack there was Dakin. So a ball up here. Ireland up against Elphinston. Jackson handballed off to Pepin. Pepin got caught with the footy. Play on was the call. Pepin just scrubs one forward. Ireland. Now a string of handballs. Ryan gave it off to a running Gardner. Gardner's kick goes out towards Ollie Davis. Doesn't he look good? He looks inside, sells a bit of candy, and a nice lead coming out. Holmes will go back and have a shot. That's what they can do to you. When you get it in the arms of Darcy Gardner and Ollie Davis, you know that the kick is going to be good. And when you've got this big man that's 17 years old.
And they have that connection as well, all Clarence boys, so they know each other's games, and the eyes lowered immediately for Noah Holmes there from Ollie Davis.
He's a big unit, isn't he? How's the haircut on him too? In he comes. He's a nice kick. And this one's just tugged to the near side for a behind. So the first score for the South.
He's a prodigious talent. Young Noah Holmes leads the TSL in contested marks at the age of 17. That is a phenomenal achievement. But he's a man mountain for a 17-year-old as well. And he'll be a real focal point for this southern side today as the North look to swing this one forward. And that's a good intercepting mark taken there. Drifting across was the ruckman Harry Island. Just lowers the eyes and chips a nice little kick in there inboard to Keegan Ryan. He just sets it up. The numbers favouring the North though, but it falls out the back to that man Noah Holmes. Handballed off to Dominic White. He snaps towards goal. He'll end up a little bit short. Competing there was Jai Menzie. Has he drawn the free kick? I think he might have here, Jai Menzie. And a chance for him to go back and kick the game's first goal that we're still searching for 10 minutes into this one.
I'm going to use this opportunity here to apologise to Harry Island because that was one of the great kicks of a ruckman I've ever seen. Just finding a man at half forward. Beautiful stuff by the big man.
He's a handy player, Jai Menzie. He strides back here. Second leading goal kicker for North Hobart this season. From the forward pocket, he stabs this one straight through the middle, and it's the South who draw first blood. They're 1-1-7. The North 3 straight behinds 3. A 4-point lead to the Southerners.
Need to commend big Noah Holmes there as well for coming out and attacking the footy and following up too. Just really good stuff from that young man. Here's the free kick. Maybe caught a little bit high there. Perhaps Lockie Mitchell a little bit unlucky too, as there was a free kick before he should have got his, but good stuff from Jai Menzie, drilling it through the middle. So we're back into the middle of UTAS Stadium. Tony Aganis has been moved into the ruck up against Harry Island. Wins it down. Dom White gets there first, gets wrapped up in a tackle straight away. We'll see another ball up. Island wins it down this time. Out the back, here's a chance for Sanders, moving the ball inside forward 50 again for the North. Roving it nicely down there was Stingle. Quick kick forward by Collins of the Will variety out towards Dom White. He's got it on the wing at UTAS Stadium. He's an easy man to pick out, and that one's just smothered nicely by Jake Dixon. We'll see another boundary throw.
The Collins brothers playing together today. They won that school premiership a couple of weeks ago for Guildford Young College, and Will's a prodigious cricket talent, Australia national level cricketer, and Sam is probably the pick of the footballers, but Will obviously pretty handy as well, playing in this All-Star game too.
As Island worked that one forward, sweeping handball into the middle. Finds McLeod, who's just going to hold up and shift it sideways back towards Dominic White, who's been busy early in this one. Swings him towards half forward. No one can take the mark down there. Controlled by Pepin. Handball out across to Ryan. But his kick drifting out of bounds on the full.
Dom White's getting a fair bit of it early there, boys. And what I like about him is he's got the white socks, the white shorts, the white boots, and the white name.
He's consistent. 4 whites.
And the red hair.
And the very beacon-like bonce.
So from half back, not a lot of options on here, so he might just blast it down the line. That's what he does, stands it up for the contest. Harry Island again coming over the top. He's really involving himself in these marking contests as the big ruckman, getting himself into all sorts of trouble. There was Ashland. They should be able to win it back here. Well, that's a good smother. Handball out the back. Charging through was Chilcott. Quick hands towards Jackson. Slung as he kicked. It just enough to put him off. Here's Oliver Sanders now. And he'll chip it to Lachlan Cowan. And looks up. Doesn't like what he sees. So just takes his time and then chips in a little short one back to Sanders. Sanders drives it forward deep with the left. It's a great kick. He picks out his man in the forward pocket down there. And a great opportunity for the North to pull one back. Sure, I've got my number 17 on my team sheet. I've been stitched up by that one.
Michael Stingle it is, in the career-saving boots, the All Blacks. There's a lot of that at the moment. You know, for a while there it was like, who can get the hottest pink boots? So Michael Stingle, the boy from North Lonnie, sends it on its way, and it's just pulled to the near side for a behind. So 4 straight behinds now for North. The South, the 1-1-7 lead by 3 points. Sam Collins to bring it out. Looks out wide. Get out of jail free card is Elijah Reardon in the pocket. He sends one long up the wing. Big fly, nice mark. Sam Tilley. Tilley looks up. Has Island, who's getting a fair bit of it too. It's a little 9-iron chip. It's not going to work. Good contest provided. Maybe a little bit more talk from the North would have been good. Out the back, a chance for Morris. Morris gets it off to a teammate in Sheriff, and Sheriff goes short, finding Foley. Called his name a bit today. Foley laterally towards Aganis, and a good spoil from Harry Island, who says, I need a spell. Come back on.
Not surprised. He's been covering a lot of territory in the first 15 minutes here as we tick towards quarter time. Low scoring arm wrestle this one at the moment. Pretty even contest really. The South just taking their chance, the difference at the moment. So with a change in ruck, the North able to win this one away, and it's swung forward by Jeffries. Oh, good contest provided down there. And spills out the back and lands with William Pepin. He's been prolific early on here for the South. He chips this one looking for Jai Menzie, but well away from him by the Sheriff. Just getting the fist away there.
Will Pepin took one of the all-time great marks in TSL history here last week that was not paid.
I don't know how.
It was clearly a mark. The umpires just missed it.
It's probably up there with Reardon's in good mark of the year contest. A couple of great grabs have been taken this year in the TSL.
Steele got it off to a running Gardner. Gardner spinning out of trouble. Handballs off to a man who was in trouble, Tilly. He managed to get it away. Steele dove in on it, as did Boars Boom. And we will see a ball up. So 16 and a half minutes gone in the first term. The South lead the North by 3 points. Aganis wins it down. Quick kick forward by the South. Good attack on the footy by both those players. Out it comes for Jeffries, who just scrubs it forward. A little push in the back there by Sam Collins. Dove his head underneath it. Out it comes here for Gardner. Gardner with a nice middle partner headband. Goes backwards. Diving on it there. Umpire's going to ball it up.
Lee Davis wrapping up his man there. Davis loves the in and under grunt work. He's top 10 in the TSL for disposals, contested balls, hard ball gets. He's a real hard nut, that young man. That's why there's so much interest in him. This one's worked to Jeffries, and he delays the handball just to draw the man. Did that really cleverly. Long searching kick forward. Good positioning though from Baker Smith. Elijah Reardon coming across, and he's just scored it out of play by Jaden Hines. So I'm not sure if we're running the same 17.5-minute quarter setup for this one as we did the previous game. Doesn't look like it, so there'll be a couple of minutes left.
20, I reckon.
Till quarter time, and a chance for the North to get on the board here as the ball's thrown back into play. It was one down by Steele. Elijah Reardon will look to use his trademark dash, and he sends them away to the wing with a long ball out in front of Tilly, who was attacking it. Ball recaptured by the North though. Foley had plenty of it. He turns onto his left, sends it down the line, and I'm not sure if that one quite stayed in for Jake Dixon. And it'll be out of bounds on the full, taken over by Borsman. In the shadows of quarter time here. The South with a 3-point lead. And just chips that one in short to Collins. No shortage of interest from the scouts watching him today, and he combines nicely, plays a little 1-2, and then chisels an inch-perfect pass for McLeod. McLeod will want to get it moving quickly here as we tick towards quarter time. It was a pretty ugly kick though, did Davis no favours. Ball falls back into his path though. It's Ollie Davis. Want to turn onto the right, forced a handball instead. Went across to Pepin. Pepin with the handball for Ethan Jackson. Good tackle though from Cohen. And running out of room here, I think, was Pepin. Just out of play in the forward pocket late in the first.
So 19 minutes gone in the first term. Boundary throw in. The left forward pocket for the South. Rucks do battle. Punched away, nicely picked up by Cohen. His clearing kick will work out okay if the ball just sits here for his teammate and Chilcott. It wasn't Chilcott at all, it was Dixon that shrugged the tackle. Spinning on his wheels there was Warren, he's tripped over. Reardon now with a chance to clear for the South, and they're out here through Gardner. Gardner runs on, kicks it up long. Coming through hard was Menzie, but the numbers with the North. And Morris will clear across the face of goal. Dangerous kick. It'll land okay here for Lockie Mitchell. Lockie Mitchell's kick's a good one and finds Hines.
Chipping in short, presenting up at that one. And a chance.
Stingle.
To just eat some seconds off the clock here. We've gone past 20 minutes, so seems we're definitely under different conditions for this one. Perhaps the more regular 17.5-minute quarters or so with time on. No time on in the first one threw us a little bit, but good to see. It's been a real slog so far this first quarter. Both teams struggling to create clear scoring opportunities. High pressure game, plenty of tough tackling. Darcy Gardner driven into the ground there. And a free kick for holding the ball going to be paid. And he's just holding on to it as long as he can to allow his defence to get back and get set. Jared Dakin, the man, rewarded for the tackle. He sends it wide for Foley. Foley looks up and silkily sells a little candy and then drifts a beautiful ball inside 50, and it's marked by Lowe. His own man nearly spoiled him, but Lowe able to keep an eye on the pill. And he takes the mark and will have a shot to give his side the lead.
I think what that comes down to there is just a couple of players that don't really know each other overly well. In saying that, they're both North Wanding players, so what do I know?
He just got it backed into his own man's space, but fortunately no harm done, as Lane and Lowe will come in and kick from 35 metres out. No angle to speak of, and he drives it straight through the middle, and the North get there first of the afternoon. They lead by 3 points, 1-4-10, the South 1-1-7.
Well, again, it was a good build-up from the North. And a beautiful kick by Banyan Lowe. Bainan Lowe.
Great work from Foley in the build-up, wasn't it? Just selling a little candy, drew the defence out of position, and then bang, he had his man on.
He's been pretty good, Sam Foley. He's had plenty of it.
Yeah, it's just that little bit of extra movement, isn't it? That, as you say, Drew, he just gets the defence a little unsettled and put it to a dangerous spot. And they actually had 2 marking chances, and one of them gobbled it up.
Ireland wins it down, but only as far as Lowe, the goal kicker. He's gone back. Davis picked it up, trying to get rid of it. Good tackle. And the umpire will ball it up. A little bit of holding on going on here. Tapped out the back. A little bit of space there for George McLeod, but he can't quite get a hold of it. Wrapped up in the tackle there was Angus Jeffries. We'll see a ball up again. It's centre wing. Ireland doing work against Elphinston. Out it comes. Here's a chance now for Jeffries. Jeffries get wrapped up in a Collins tackle straight away. Can't clear it out.
So rinse and repeat the stoppage game at the moment in the shadows of quarter time. It's the hosts by 3 points. Ireland's been good in the ruck. He won that one down. Charging through was Darcy Gardner. The kick forward from Pullen. Always favoured Isaac Chug, and he takes the intercepting mark there ahead of Menzie. As he swings a rather dicey looking kick coming across was Collins to influence that contest. Although in the end it's picked up by Foley, who sends them to half forward. Not his best work there though. His kick should be picked off. It's going to be a holding the man for a kick paid. Going in favour of Tyler McGuinness, who wants to move it quickly. Forced to go short in the end and found Ollie Davis. Davis handed off to McGann. He drives them forward with a searching ball. Good mark presenting up at it from Ryan. He dropped it off for Tilly. Balks past one. Tilly from 45. Let's fly. It's a wonderful goal. Sam Tilly restores South's lead with a fantastic hit from 45 on the run.
Yeah, magic work by Sam Tilly. He got himself into a little bit of trouble there, but then just ducked back, doubled back, and found a bit of space, and the finish was electric. You see here, that's a good mark to Ryan.
Yeah, he's a player on the rise, Sam Tilly. Lauderdale up-and-comer who looked pretty impressive just last week against Glenorchy on a Wednesday night at a cold KG5. Caused some serious headaches up forward for the Glenorchy defence, and as we just saw, he can finish, can't he? That was clean as a whistle.
4 goals in 4 senior games from this year as he's worked his way into the starting 22.
Well, that's good for Sam Tilly, isn't it? At the back, here's a chance now. Davis got it off somehow to the goal kicker and Tilly. A big high up and under. Who's going to fly for it? Dom White wanted nothing to do with it. Quick kick out of there by Chug. Finds a teammate in Jeffries. Jeffries looks up on his left boot. Sends it long towards Sanders and it beats him across the line.
So we've travelled 25 minutes and that is all we'll travel. The siren did seem like it must be imminent, and there it is. So Sam Tilly has put South back ahead by 3 points at the first change here. A pretty even first quarter of action really. Both teams have had their moments. South just taking their chances a little bit better the difference at the moment. What have you made of it, fellas?
Yeah, I think that the skill has been pretty good, pretty high. There's been a couple of guys maybe biting off a little bit more than they can chew in trying to impress perhaps, but as the quarter went on, that sort of fell by the wayside and they went back to just playing footy. I think that's the way the recruiters would like to watch them, Rowie. What did you think?
Yeah, you can tell there's a little bit more perhaps chemistry between the South players, given so many. I guess the spread of clubs that they're from is a little less, especially that Clarence link-up goal that saw Noah Holmes finish. It was Darcy Gardner to Ollie Davis to Noah Holmes, and that's two or three of the real prime movers for the Southern team. But I thought the Northern team showed a bit. They had their chances, as you mentioned. Foley on a wing I thought was really nice in that term, set up one of their goals, and I thought Sanders as well was pretty productive also. So the goal kickers to this stage.
Sam Tilley with one, Jai Menzies with one for the South, and Bain and Lowe has one for the North.
Yeah, so a fairly even term. A couple of the overages as well, as we mentioned in the pre-game. Ethan Jackson was pretty busy, and Elijah Reardon had an early hiccup where he turned the ball over, as we see the shot on goal here, but actually did some pretty nice things. And Sam Collins as well was throwing his body at contests and trying to intercept, and they like it in his hands. He's such a sure user. So good signs from both teams, I think, and an interesting game to unfold for the remainder of the three quarters.
All right, we'll take a quick break here and be back with the second quarter of this NAB League North versus South All-Stars here from Tassie, live from UTAS Stadium. We'll be back in a moment. And this one's just tugged to the near.
For this Southern side today, as the North to swing this one forward, and that's a good intercepting mark taken there. Drifting across was the ruckman Harry Ireland to Dominic White. He snaps towards goal. He'll end up a little bit short. Competing there was Jai Menzies. Has he drawn the free kick? I think he might have here, Jai Menzies. He strides back here. Second leading goal kicker for North Hobart this season. From the forward pocket, he stabs this one straight through the middle, and it's the South who draw first blood. They're 1-1-7. The North, three straight behinds three. Chips in a little short one, back to Sanders. Sanders drives it forward deep with the left. It's a great kick. He picks out his man in the forward pocket down there.
The boy from North Lonnie sends it on its way, and it's just pulled to the near side for a behind. So four straight behinds now for North. Steele got it off to a running Gardner. Gardner spinning out of trouble. Handballs off to a man who was in trouble, Tilley. He managed to get it away. Steele dove in on it, as did Boers Boom. And we will see.
He looks up and silkily sells a little candy and then drifts a beautiful ball inside 50, and it's marked by Lowe. His own man nearly spoiled him, but Lowe kick from 35 metres out. No angle to speak of, and he drives it straight through the middle, and the North get there first of the afternoon. They lead by 3 points, 1-4-10. The South 1-1-7. Ollie Davis. Davis handed off to McGann. He drives them forward with a searching ball. Good mark presenting up at it from Ryan. He dropped it off for Tilley. Balks past one. Tilley from 45. Let's fly. It's a wonderful goal. Sam Tilley restores South's lead with a fantastic hit from 45 on the run.
Yeah, magic work by Sam Tilley. He got himself into a little bit of trouble there, but then just ducked.
Welcome back to UTAS Stadium. It is NAB Under-18 All-Stars, North versus South, where the South holds a narrow 3-point lead over the North, 2-1-13 to 1-4-10. As you can see, the goal kickers in that first term, Jai Menzies and Sam Tilley with one apiece for the South. Bain and Lowe has one for the Northerners in a game that was fairly free-flowing but didn't result in the scoreboard impact we might have liked. Plenty of draft prospects and AFL interest in this game, the likes of Davis and Jackson and Gardner and Collins and Chugg and Sanders, and I'm sure many others. Tubes Taylor with me in commentary ahead of this second term. The South owned the first term, didn't they? But it wasn't a dominant performance. I
wouldn't say it was complete ownership. I feel like maybe 60-40. They were in sharing ownership of the sharing out there. The North, I like their pressure around the footy. I enjoyed watching them play. But in saying that, the South are on the scoreboard.
So away we go in this second term. The Rucks go out at Ireland, who was productive in the first term, won it down. We'll have another stoppage immediately in the middle of the ground.
I would almost say that he was their best in the first term.
Yeah, he was good, wasn't he? The Premier, a big man on the ground at this early stage as Chilcott wins it out. It was perhaps a high tackle. And it will, so it'll be a Northern ball here. Middle of UTAS. Stingle turns it straight over to his opposing number in Dom White, who was also pretty handy in the first term for the Southerners. He flares things out wide. Into the middle they go now.
Handball was on there. Dom White kept running.
Here's Ryan. He kicks up the line. Jake Steele, the North Hobart big man, will wheel around onto his right boot. Kick inside 50 for the South. Was looking for Holmes, but it was really good positioning from Zach Morris, who got in front to take the mark. He's got a relieving kick out wide. So the first meaningful foray forward here. And that's kicked straight into the man on the mark from Mitchell. And we'll have a boundary throw in at left half forward for the South. Looking to extend this lead. 25-minute quarters in this game this afternoon. All-Stars match, of course. North versus South. UTAS Stadium looking in pretty good condition. Here's Ollie Davis, one of the high-interest players this afternoon. Gets it out to Dom White, who goes into the Noah Holmes direction. Couldn't get access to the footy. Going in after it was Sheriff. Bent down, picked it up. Couldn't win a clean disposal. Holmes, the big man, goes down after it. His handball immediately picked off by Chugg, who kept going off half-back in the hands of Chilcott now, who eventually got it out to Stingle. Forward they go now, the Northerners. Good contest at half-forward. Here's Will Collins gathering the footy and kicking for touch. What will the umpire say?
Deliberate.
He will say deliberate, so that's always a sniff, isn't it? In this day and age, the deliberate free kick when it's kicked towards the line with nobody in the vicinity. Chilcott to take it, who has also been fairly busy in the early portion of this game. He'll send the Northern side inside 50. Maroon jumpers all around the footy. It was taken off hands by Ives. He got it off to Lowe. Snap on goal here from Hines around the body. There might be a free kick after the fact. So Sam Collins, a little exuberant. Hines will get another chance. So the initial kick on goal missed to the far side. But Jaden Hines,
very fast haircut. I like how quick he looks. He's looking quick.
Speed racer.
Fresh haircut.
Fresh indeed. Let's have a look at the kick from Hines,
nice.
Who handles on in and just misses to the right-hand side. So a minor score for the Northerners.
Pumped him up, didn't I? And then had to let him down a little bit.
He did, Tubes.
As he went through for a behind. So looks like Sam Collins will bring it out from fullback. Plays on. Gets his stat up. Like it. Nice long kick out towards Ireland and Cobra. Strong standing mark there from Sam Foley. Foley's got Agunas down deep if he wants. Decides against that. Looks up and now just chips it up. Collins should wrap this one up pretty easy. That's a strong mark. The umpire said no. He didn't hold it on for long enough there, Theo Ives. And now a clearing kick by George McLeod. McLeod's kick finds a teammate somehow in Jai Menzies. Menzies looks up. Shoulder strap there for Jai. He goes across the face of goal. That's okay. Oh, good attack on the footy there from Stingle. He goes back in again, and that's a good effort by the number 17 for the North. It was a dangerous kick, and poor Jono Pullen come up with a free kick. Not sure what that was for. Rowie, did you see?
Well, I think he followed up his work with a tackle at ground level, so
right.
Might have been a
Balls boom. Back into the middle of the ground. Finds a teammate there in Pepin. Pepin handballs off to Collins. Collins with some time. Gets tackled and dumped after the kick. But umpire said, don't worry about that. Ethan Jackson's got the mark anyway. So they look to attack the south. He goes once, twice, and this is his third time. Gets called to play on. Now a long, high kick. Big fly at the back. Out the chance now. Rolling out the back was Ollie Davis, and he gets tackled hard. That's caught hold in the footy. Be free kick going to Isaac Chug.
Yeah, so Davis immediately under pressure. They would have put some time into him, I'd imagine. So through the middle of the ground they go now. The Northerners. Jeffries, who's been a likely tight. Out to Hines. Left foot ball. Just eluded his teammate in Whitney. Couldn't quite gather it. He's Reardon, who does gather the footy. He's immediately claimed by, it might have been Warren.
Just a little throw there, I think. So Warren will get the free kick.
A whistle. So unable to escape was Reardon.
Nickname Rabbit.
Will kick into the pocket. Aganis was the target. Couldn't take it. Handball over the head from Ireland. Here they go now through hands. Gardner got it off to Baker Smith. Middle of the ground now, immediately chopped off by Chug, who's just getting into this game. He goes short to Sanders. Famous Launceston footy name, and he's got a man all on his own in the pocket. Brayden Lowe, the goal kicker from the first term. He'll line up for his second of the afternoon.
So that was good work again by the North. Just a lot of pressure, inside forward 50 pressure by their big forwards.
It seems Sanders is involved in every sort of meaningful thrust for the Northerners at this stage, and Chug as well, starting to have an impact off half back.
Chug, like him.
So here's Bain and Lowe from 35 metres out, sends it on its way, and another miss to the North.
He's kicked 1-2 now.
Both teams controlling the ball a little more this quarter. It's a little bit rushed in the first quarter, a lot more, I suppose, contested ball and rolling scrums, as this one's going to be picked off in the back pocket and Reardon will bring it out. But just they've been looking to be a bit more precise by foot, show some ball control here.
Darcy Gardner gets it at half back. He handballs off to Borsboom and gets it back. Gardner with a handball over the top. Pullen's running for Pepin. He gets it. Jono Pullen. He looks up and looks inboard and goes towards a teammate, Borsboom. So Lockie's Borsboom from half forward, looking to get it inside forward 50, but the numbers here everywhere for the North, and Ollie Sanders gets it off to a running Jeffries. Jeffries' kick goes forward, and that was a good attack on the footy there. I'm not sure who it was. It might have actually been this man, Tom McGann, but then the pressure again came from Whitney. Whitney's tackled Davis hard, but it's worked out okay for the Southerners. So they move it forward again. Jackson handballs over the top, finds Young. Young's kick is smothered brilliantly by the diving Mitchell. But the kick is untoward and lands in Ollie Davis's arms.
Yeah, been prolific. There's Ollie Davis. Short ball, middle of the ground. So here's Collins, who goes across the field. And they go inside now to the south. Big fly at the back, unable to be dragged in. There's Hines fighting hard, but all wrapped up.
One thing I feel like that the Southerners are doing is they kick it inside forward 50, just overcooking the kick, just kicking it over the top of their teammates' heads just a little bit. So maybe that perceived pressure from the North side is just getting into the heads of the Southerners.
So Ashland was tackled as he kicked the footy, trying to work his team forward. The handball was errant, came straight out to Young. Gee, nice bit of work from Gardner, who's been massive also early on in this game. It'll spill out the front of the pack to Menzie, who thought about a shot on goal, eventually went back to Holmes. He fed it back off to a teammate in Ashland, who does fire on goal, and I think he's bounced it through. He has. So the South notch up another. They had to really work for it, but it was some crafty forward play that saw the goal eventually come.
So just great support there for Jai Menzie. And Holmes just got it off to a man, Ashland, who kicked it in the end around the corner, but just numbers around the footy for the South.
Just always had that spare out the back, didn't they? Really clever, just protected the space, always had that outlet, went to him, and as you mentioned, they've gone inside 50 half a dozen times this quarter, still haven't taken a mark, and only the one inside 50 mark this quarter for the North. Both teams struggling to get those set shots at the moment, which probably does say that the delivery going inside needs to lift a little for both sides.
Aganis with Ireland. Ireland wins it down because it just sat in his lap. His kick goes forward, looking for this man in Tilly, who goes even further afield. Hands there for Holmes. Holmes does well to just follow up and get a little bit of pressure on the ball carrier. Dixon with a short one is terrible. It lands in the arms of Pepin. Pepin's kick is a good one, finds Young. Young's got some time, plays on, now just needs to steady. He's pulled the kick, though, just to the far side for a behind.
Yeah, that was a bit of a red flag there for the Northerners. They had Young in time and space inside 50, so much so we decided to play on and have a look at the goals. Fortunate for the Northerners that he didn't finish. Sanders good below his feet. Had to make a bad kick look good. Across goal they go, though, and great forward pressure from the Southerners. Menzies getting across.
Well, if the Southerners are kicking too far, the Northerners aren't kicking far enough. There's been a few times that the kicks from fullback haven't made the journey. So they just need to get their kicks up a little bit better.
So chance here for the South to cash in on a forward-half stoppage. So we just await the footy to return. And there it is. So can they conjure something here, the South, and extend this lead? 8 points the margin. Second term here at UTAS Stadium. Here's Sanders again. He's been massive. High kick towards the middle of the ground, bouncing ball. Gardner went after it, eventually fell for Baker Smith, who got the handball off to Borsboom. Kick inside 50, looking for Tilly, was just worked off it by his opponent in low. And he gets the outlet kick to go. So Warren has it here. Towards half forward they go. Target unable to be found. They're fighting hard for it here across half forward. Borsboom works it back to McGuinness. They go to Gardner. Here's Elijah Reardon with some pep off half back. The kick was misguided though. Chance now for the Northerners to go inside 50. Stingle, 2-on-1 contest. Ireland at the back gathered the ball. Fed a handball out to Pullen. His kick wide was looking for Collins. He had to go back with the flight, unable to reel it in at the last moment. He did well to fight out a handball to Jai Menzies. Did so as he was being tackled. Now Ethan Jackson has the footy on the near wing, looking for Holmes, juggling, couldn't reel it in. Davis come flashing through. Kick inside 50, a pretty good one to Steele. The defence was even better though, but Steele butted up. Got it back to Wally Davis. Left foot snap on goal. He's missing by a lot.
Really starting to get on top here, the South. Starting to exert their will on this game. Northerners struggling to get the ball forward of centre. It's South doing all the attacking for the time being, and their prime movers in midfield. Some Gardner, Davis, Pepin, all really starting to get plenty of the ball.
They've still just made the most of their opportunities, the South. North kicking 1-6 might come back to bite them in the end. As it comes out here again. Kick forward by Dakin. Rolling ball out the back for Borsboom. He goes backwards even further, finds a teammate in Alomes. His kick is no good and finds Stingle, who's been pretty handy. Stingle from half back goes across the face of goal. Dangerous kick. Collins is arriving. There's numbers here though for the North rather. Collins doing well. Will get a free kick there. No, he doesn't. Umpire missed an absolute juicer there. And we'll see a ball in. I think Sam Collins just walked over the umpire and just said, hey, buddy, I'm playing footy here and I don't think you're allowed to grab me while I don't have the footy. Umpire says you're in possession, play on. Push in the back there, should have been a free kick too. Davis rather does well, and the umpire will ball it up as Bain and Lowe lays a tackle.
3-2-20, the South lead the North 1-6-12, who've had their chances, unable to convert thus far. Davis tracks the footy, he's been huge. Got the handball out to White. He got it to George McLeod. Across the ground they go. Borsboom is starting to get into it as well. Off hands out the back. Task now for Chug. Can he hit a target? A 2-on-1 forms on the wing. It eludes all players. It stays in though. Gathered eventually
good handball
by Whitney. Wonderful releasing handball. The mark just spilled at the last minute by Elphinstone. Deep in defence now for the South. Here's McGuinness, who goes one way then the other. Cool under pressure. Got it off to Pullen. Right foot kick out in the direction of Dom White, who's got Foley for company. Eventually he sees it over. Yeah, that was picture perfect handball. Needed to be.
Tidy from Ryan Whitney, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. So boundary throw in. Right half forward. There's Gardner, swung off his disposal. It falls to Sanders, who kicks long towards goal. 55. He had a kick for distance. Eventually comes out to a teammate in Whitney. And around the corner it goes for another minor score. So that scoreboard starting to look a little ugly for the North. Messy, untidy, 1-7-13. In it comes. Mark taken by McGuinness.
So even that kick there was just a little bit high for McGuinness. Yeah, just lay off the pepper a little bit.
McGuinness will spread things to Borsboom. He's got a man over the top who he will use in Ashland. And he's got a man short as well. Just pops it up to Alomes. Away he goes. He's kicked down the line. He's going to be picked off by Morris. So he switches the play now. It was somewhat dangerous, but he saw the numbers, the yellow jumpers, and decided to go that way. Chilcott gets on the end of it, goes towards Hines, who outstretched the arms and kept his feet, gathered the loose footy and put a neat ball into Sanders. He wheels around onto the left boot. Man into the middle of the ground is Stingle. He gives off immediately to Davies. Inside 50 they go. The North man at the back couldn't get access in Cohen. It was picked up and handed off to the runner in McIver, who misses. Another shot on goal. 1-8-14. The South 3-2-20.
4 straight behinds this quarter for the North as the Southerners bring it back through McGann. He's got a basic centre-half back. He goes out wide to find Sam Collins. Collins with a little 9-9, chipping over the top. A solid mark to John O'Pullen. Good to see an Afro getting around in the footy field again. As Will Pepin with pace through the middle has a second bounce. Does he go for a third? No, he runs into trouble. Lockie Mitchell with a brilliant tackle, and they play on, taking advantage. Quick kick inside forward 50 comes from Sanders. They've got him in the overlap here. And the mark taken by Cooper Warren. How about that tackle by Lockie Mitchell, the boy from Longford?
Just a little half stride too many, wasn't it, from Pepin?
Take a look at this. You don't get past a bloke from Longford. They know how to tackle. They've been chasing sheep and pigs and horses their whole life. Brilliant stuff by Lockie Mitchell. And he's caused a turnover and a shot on goal to Cooper Warren. So this to put them back to even pegging. 17.5 minutes gone in the second term. Beautiful kick off the boot. And it's a goal.
They really needed that one. They levelled the scores up. They've had a good little period the last 5 minutes, but they've gone inside 455 times for 4 behinds. They're generating chances, just not taking them. They finally get a goal to show for it. And we're all square. And 2-8 to 3-2. They've left a few out there today, but given they were under siege for the first 10 minutes of the quarter, they'll probably be pretty content to be on level terms for now.
Well, they've kicked 1-4 in the first and 1-4 in the second, so they're, if anything, they're consistent, Andy Cooling.
Yeah, they were probably going forward a little more often in the first quarter, but this quarter they've taken their chance there, but they've been generating chances every time they've gone in. Their forward line looks really lively. Just got to get a few more goals when they do get down there.
18.5 gone, second term. And we're all square. South 3-2-20, North 2-8-20. Had plenty more chances in front of goal. It hasn't cost them too much so far. Ashland fed the handball up, missed the target. Elijah Reardon attacked it hard. It came out to low. Kick inside looking for Agarnis. It was read best by McGuinness. eventually worked things out. The kick was misguided, looking for McLeod. It'll be over for a boundary throw-in. Still in the northern half of the ground. 20 apiece, low-scoring affair here at UTAS Stadium. Not too much breeze or rain to contend with. They go the two rucks. Ireland, just with the double palm down, was looking for the run of Davis. Sanders, though, busted through a tackle. Left foot, high ball inside 50. McGuinness had front spot. It falls to Collins, who just juggled it, thought about Reardon, eventually went the kick. Dangerous zone here for the Southerners. Jeffries was lurking. He still hassles his opponent in pulling. It's not coming out of there. The umpire's whistle sounds.
Is that modern football for you in a nutshell? Players don't want to pick it up because they're worried I'm going to get pinged for dragging it in here.
Especially when you're 15 metres out from goal. Ireland and Aganis doing the ruck work. Ireland with the little lap palm, looking for a teammate. He's on top of the footy. Aganis on top of him. We'll have another ball up. So we're 15 metres out here from the northern goal. 20 minutes gone. 25-minute quarters today in this under-18 boys North v South All-Stars matchup. UTAS Stadium. Kick out of the congestion is a scrubby one. It eventually comes to Chilcott, who keeps it in. He had a teammate in support in McIver, but eventually it sees itself out. So another boundary throw in. 35 metres around from the left behind post. Northerners searching for a score that'll give them the lead. Down it comes immediately to Sanders, who was given a free kick for a high tackle or a hold, one of the two. So either way, Ollie Sanders, who has been very, very good in the engine room for the Northern team so far. Let's have another look at this one. Down it come, and I think the initial tackle just slipped high from Ashland. A flash frame of a high tackle, so the umpire's whistle came quick. Ollie Sanders here to give the North the lead. In he comes. That's working its way back, and perhaps there's a little more breeze than we thought out there, because that started way left with a beautiful little baby fade to it. Works its way through for a major. Ollie Sanders has his first. And the North take the lead.
Let's take another look at this. How's the breeze? Just once it rised above the western stand there, just caught the breeze and snuck in, Andy.
Yeah, masterfully done there by Sanders. I was thinking, yeah, he's hung that too far out to the left, but absolute perfection in the end. Bit of a gift, that one, from the umpire for mine, but you've got to take them. And the North have done that. They've claimed the lead here after the South had the better of the first 10 minutes of this quarter. We're dominating. It's the North are really on top for now, and they're making it show on the scoreboard too.
The umpire will pull that one up and reset. So 25-minute quarters here with no time on by the looks of things. Ireland wins another one down. And the umpire will ball it up again. At the bottom of the pack there was Bannon Lowe. Lowe gets it off. Read it well. Trying to take the mark there was Theo Ives. Handball came out. Now there's numbers here. No one really wants the footy. They all just ran away from it, the South, as Jeffries went in and got it. And Collins caught him. An incorrect disposal, said the umpire. So Sam Collins will take the free kick at left half back. Not sure what's happening here. The umpire's just pulling the ball back. Maybe telling Baker Smith to get on out of it. So Collins sends a long one flying up. A number of players went up for the South and just ran under the footy. Handball came out nicely from Morris. Only as far as Dom White. White got his handball away. And it rolls out of bounds in front of Big John O'Pullen. So a little bit of a lull in the style of play at the moment. It's been pretty scrappy in the last couple of minutes. See a boundary throw in at half forward for the North. One down, Low, got it forward, bouncing ball. Just sat on its end nicely. Collins. He only knows one way, and that's to burrow his head inside of Angus Jeffrey's pocket. And the umpire will ball it up again.
Yeah, not short of courage, Sam Collins. Up they go. Rucks go at it. Straight down to Davis, who gets a kick away. Only as far as McLean, who saw it over. So about a minute left in this first half. The North have owned this second term. They lead by a goal. And it comes. So over the back was Borsboon, who gave it cleanly. Handballed back into traffic, but it was okay to White, although his handball was affected. Through came Hines for the North, but gee, that was picked off beautifully by Tilly, and it might just release his team here in the dying seconds of the half. The short ball in is a good one. Keegan Ryan on the end of the bullet pass, and he has a chance here to tie things up, and he'll probably kick from after the half-time siren if we've got these 25-minute terms, which we think we do.
Think again.
There it is. So 2 seconds behind is the timekeeper, maybe just finishing his pie.
Can't push a button with a pie in your hand, can you?
Absolutely not. Keegan Ryan to square things up for the Southerners. Kicks from right on 50. The journey looks pretty good, as does the accuracy.
How's that for a kick?
That is an absolute ripper goal from Keegan Ryan on the buzzer. Sends it sailing home, and gee, that went about 6 rows back. Wonderful finish.
That was a huge kick, and here it is again. You just see the swipe there from Tilly, and the handball came over to Ireland. And I need to apologise again to Harry Ireland, because that was a beautiful kick by Big Harry. He nearly made me look good, but then made himself look good by mopping it up. And it's tidy mark by Ryan, but the kick was magic.
Yeah,
and as he said, Rowie,
look at this.
He's kicked from right behind 50. It's gone through post high.
Yeah, that's a wonderful kick of the footy and a wonderful finish to the first half for the boys from down south. So 4-2-26 the Southerners, the Northerners 3-8-26 into the first half here. It's all squared up, nothing separating these two teams. How have you seen it unfold, lads?
Well, I've been impressed with the movement. I think the boys are probably just trying too hard, if anything, to kick the ball in the direction that they want it to go. I feel like some of the kicks have been too short, other kicks have been too long. In saying that, the skill level is pretty high, Andy Cooling.
Yeah, it was a lovely execution of the skills there into half-time, and a massive goal for the South, because they hadn't gone forward in about 10 minutes. They were absolutely hemmed in there. It was the North all over them, and the South get that goal right on the siren to draw us level. That's a real gut punch for the North, who really had the better of the back half of that quarter, and probably more of the first. Pretty even half, really. It's probably fair enough, the scoreboard. But
yeah,
it's been going kind of like 5 or 10 minute bursts. It hasn't really been end to end. It's been one team locking in at one end, dominating, and the other team gets up the other end, and vice versa.
They're the goal kickers up on screen. So Jai Menzies, Sam Tilly, Riley Ashland and Keegan Ryan with one apiece. For the North, Bain and Lowe, Cooper Warren and Ollie Sanders with one each. Better players, Rowie. I thought Ollie Sanders has led from the front for the North. I really like Sam Foley's game. Angus Jeffrey's been good. Isaac Chugg's been good. Lockie Cohen's been pretty good too. Jaden Hines is keeping himself involved in the game as well. And for the South, well, Sam Collins has been excellent. Harry Ireland through the ruck. Dom White, Lockie Borsboom, Darcy Gardner and Sam Tilly have all been busy too. How have you seen it, Rowie?
Yeah, I thought Ollie Davis had a quieter term in that second quarter, maybe a little bit more attention from the Northern team, but still doing all that grunt work and real engine room stuff, trying to get his team, here he is here, getting mowed down, maybe that
little quieter.
That little 5% extra attention. But I thought Sanders was the player of the second term for the North. Brayden Lowe has a goal to his name and it's been pretty productive. And you mentioned Isaac Chugg, who started to really get productive off half-back for North as well. So they're probably the picks for me at this stage. But a pretty decent spread. Ireland I've been impressed with as well out of the ruck for the Southern team.
I think he's been excellent. And you know, I had a bit of a go at him early for being a ruckman and the old cliche of you never give it to a ruckman running. But he showed me up a couple of times. So well done to Harry Island. We'll take a quick break here. It is half time and it's all square in this AFL TAS NAB AFL All-Stars North versus South match. We'll be back in just a few moments.
Southerners, Menzies getting across.
Well, if the Southerners...
Forms on the wing. Eludes all players. It stays in, though. Gathered eventually
good handball
by Whitney. Wonderful releasing handball. The mark just spilled at the last minute by Elphinstone. Deep in defence now for the South. Cohen, it was picked up and handed off to the runner in McIver, who misses. Another shot on goal.
Will Pepin with pace through the middle, has a second bounce. Does he go for a third? No, he runs into trouble. Lockie Mitchell with a brilliant tackle, and they play on taking advantage. Quick kick inside forward 50 comes from Sanders. They've got him in the overlap here. And the mark taken by Cooper Warren. How about that tackle by Lockie? So this to put them back to even pegging. 17.5 minutes gone in the second term. Beautiful kick off the boot. And it's a goal.
They really needed that one. They levelled the scores up. They've had a good little period the last 5 minutes.
Searching for a score that'll give them the lead. Down it comes immediately to Sanders, who was given a free kick for a high quick. Ollie Sanders here to give the North the lead. In he comes. That's working its way back, and perhaps there's a little more breeze than we thought out there, because that started way left with a beautiful little baby traffic, but it was okay to White, although his handball was affected. Through came Hines for the North, but gee, that was picked off beautifully by Tilly, and it might just release his team here in this picked off beautifully by Tilly, and it might just release his team here in the dying seconds of the half. The short ball in is a good one. To square things up for the Southerners. Kicks from right on 50. The journey looks pretty good, as does the accuracy.
How's that for a kick?
That is an absolute ripper goal. From UTAS Stadium, AFL Tasmania. NAB under-18 All-Stars North versus South. And as you can see, it's all locked up as we prepare to commence this second half. The South 4-2-26. The North 3-8-26. And some of the prime movers that the scouts will have an eye on have been pretty impressive so far, Drew Cooley.
Yeah, love the work of Oliver Sanders for the North. The big ruckman for the South in Ireland's been impressive. Davis started out really, really nicely. Had the clamps parked on him a little as the game progressed, but we'll see how he goes in the second half. An early handball it sprung out to McLeod. Out after this one was Ethan Jackson. He started very impressively, and there is Ollie Davis. We'll see what he can do. He gets a handball back. Plays a little 1-2 then and continues it to Keegan Ryan, who drives it to half forward. Searching ball should favour the Northerners though. Isaac Chug, another who flashed in that second quarter. Really likely type coming off half back. Some good work in the air and showed some dash on the deck as well. Important piece of this Northern setup. Empire will lob this one back into play on the 50 arc. All squared here at UTAS Stadium. One down to Darcy Gardner. His kick was smothered. He's continued burrowing his way through. He's wrapped up in a strong tackle, though, from Foley, who also was pretty good in that first half, especially the first quarter. Had plenty of it. And a pretty handy player out on the wing for this Northern side. Ireland wins it down. It falls out the back. In favour Ryan. Spinning onto it was Pepin. Got rid of it before he was tackled, and it's a hot potato, and eventually they'll get it just about out of there. Clearing kick should allow them to counter-attack here. Some nice work from Stengel over the top. He found Foley, who drives it long into the half-forward direction, but again picked off. There was Collins to Reardon. Reardon opting to retreat. Oh, he sets a task here for Baker Smith. He's under some pressure from Jonty McIver. McIver got the ball but then lost his footing. He'll have the ball in the forward pocket.
Yeah, probably a little fortuitous for Baker Smith, who was under all sorts of pressure. But that's Elijah Reardon. He likes to just take it on and bite off the kick and take a risk. It's probably what makes him an impressive young player as a Garnet goes up in the ruck, shoveled out. Here's Collins, high up and under. Doesn't quite clear defensive 50. Sanders attacked the footy. Here's Gardner to Davis. Back to Gardner. The Clarence duo link up. Elected to take a bounce to Gardner. Got away with it. Tried to feed a handball inboard to Tilly. Missed the mark. Got his own footy back, and they'll bounce off half back here. The Southerners. McLeod. He opts to go short and wide. Alomes loping. Kick towards half forward is a nice looking ball. Here's Steele. Wheel around and kick inside 50. Ethan Jackson's the man deep. The fist over the top came. Won't quite get to the boundary line. Picked up by Chug, who finds Whitney. He comes back inboard to a contest. That was dangerous. It'll work out here for the Northerners, though. Here they go off half back. Morris. Nicely weighted ball out towards the wing for Dixon. It sits up for him. He kicks on the left boot. Looking for Hines, just skidded, he shinned it over. Half a cry for on the full, but nothing doing. So a boundary throw in as the Northerners looks pretty nice moving it out of defence there. In it comes the forward pocket for the Northerners. Down it comes. Collins. The handball up to Ireland, the ruckman, who's been super impressive today, especially with his use. He missed the target on this occasion. Sanders straight into the breadbasket of Davis, his fellow star, out to Young. Handball over the top to Holmes, who's a long way from home. Turnover now. Northerners have the footy. Sanders, a ton of the footy. He's turned it over on this occasion, though, and McGuinness gets back. Takes the mark. And goes to Collins, who comes across the ground.
So here's Bryce Alomes, who swings it down towards the wing, just drifting in nicely to take the mark was Dakin. He just chisels one to half forward, finds Angus Jeffries, looks up, swings an inside 50 on the left foot now, stands it up for the Tilks to fly. Roving in the end was McIver, who gets his shot away, and it's straight through the middle. Josh McIver finds the goal to get the Northerners off and running in quarter number 3. They lead by that goal, 4-8-32 to the South, 4-2-6. And some reward for some good early pressure from the North. They've gone inside 50 a few times. And just good strength shown there from Jonty McIver.
Yeah, Crummer's goal, who read it off the hands, took the tackle, broke the tackle and finished cleanly. So, yeah, really nice goal. And an important one too. The North go up 4-8-32. South 4-2-26. Jonty McIver, his first of the afternoon. He's done a couple of nice things. Probably hasn't been as prominent perhaps as he might have liked, but some scoreboard impact as the South look to hit back here. Pepin out of the middle of the ground, high towards half forward. Holmes crashes the pack. Effect did enough. Borsboom was dragged off his kick. And he was dropping the ball, so a free kick will go the way of Cohen here. He sees something he likes short to Davies. Off half back again here, the Northerners. Reardon flew, we know he can, brought it down to ground, worked his man off the footy and gathered it, but he was immediately mowed down by Foley, who's been super impressive this afternoon. Strong build is Foley. He'll send them inside 50 again. The kick is wayward though, and it'll tumble out of bounds. He's been good, hasn't he, Foley? He's not one of the big names, I suppose, playing this afternoon, but I've really liked his game.
Yeah, he's had plenty of the ball, and his tackling pressure has been fantastic. Another example of it there, stopping Elijah Reardon right in his tracks as Garnis competing in the ruck. Good tackle laid again by Cohen. They look to lock it in here and find another goal. To skip away a little bit. They've controlled the early goings here. That's a massive shirt grab, not spotted there on Agnes. And a bit unfortunate there, the big ruckman, as he got yoinked backwards without the footy. But they'll get away with it, and the pressure continues to build. Another ball up, one down by Harry Islands. Aganis got the kick away. It's spilt. It's almost a chance there for Hines. Through for a behind. He's been pretty lively as Hines in attack for the North. He looks like he's going to spark them every time he's gone near the football. A quick counter-attack being taken here. Alomes will swing it forward. A searching ball there. Doing well again in defence was Isaac Chugg, though. He's won a lot of aerial duels today as Chugg. It's a well-rounded player as that kick just eludes his teammate out on the full. Jeffrey's unable to track it down. It'll be Baker Smith who just chips it down the wing, spying the man in space. That was Holmes, who'll eventually turn and swing it to half forward. The big men fly down there off hands, and Noah Holmes got the kick forward but turned over. Bit of a look away kick there from Sanders. Might have been better to have a look. Landed in between a sea of about 8 bodies and bounced in favour of the North. Handball from low, put his teammate under pressure, but they keep a hold of it. And eventually they'll kick it down the line. It wasn't a great kick though. Almost let McGann in. Good charge down there. Lovely work from Whitney. And then sending him forward was McIver. And bounces all the way through for a goal, McIver. And they're out by 13 points the North. He just put it on the boot, blasted it forwards. A bit of a fortuitous bounce, but he has been the game breaker in this quarter. Jonty McIver with his second.
Yeah, he certainly has. That was wonderful play. Just spotted an open 50. I initially thought he was going for Aganis over the back, but he's kicked that from 65 at least. And that's just bounced through twice. Yeah, terrific finish. Remains perhaps to be seen whether or not the goal was the ultimate target or whether he was trying to wait a pass over the top to a running Aganis, but I'm sure he'll tell everybody that'll listen that that was a shot on goal that managed to bounce on through. So 13 points the margin here. It was all level at half time as they tried to work it out of the centre again through Jeffries, but the tackle is laid. We'll have another stoppage right in the middle of UTAS Stadium. Rucks go at it. Jack Steele in for the Southerners as Jackson can't get a grasp on the footy. Out it comes. They'll go forward again here. The Northerners, one-on-one contest. He's pulling, fighting hard, coming through. Impressively was Whitney, got a handball off. He's the dual goal scorer in McIver. This time at ground level trying to work something out. Handball come out from Tilly, impressive. He's pulling. Kick out to a one-on-one. Davies gathers the footy on the bounce. Just decides to retreat ever so slightly. Ives, he'll come back the same way it came from. And he'll find a target in Morris. Back into the middle of the ground. So here's Chug. There was some draft raps on him last year coming into this year, but his name hasn't been as prominent as he turns it over. Tilly, Lauderdale youngster who's done some pretty nice things today. Gets it to Steele, who went one way, then the other onto the left boot. Wasn't his finest effort. Pepin on the end of it here, though. Received from Jackson outside of the right boot, inside 50, and too tall at the back was Blakemore, who takes an impressive mark.
Just plucked it nicely from behind there, and they'll look to get out of defence here through Zachary Morris, who sends them along in the Chilcott direction, just eludes him. And out of play. We mentioned pre-game that the South probably had more players with TSL experience. Given the strength of the two Launceston teams in particular,
for sure.
I think perhaps maybe not such a bad thing that they've got a number of players in that development league. They just can't get a look into those really ultra strong kind of midfield groups of the two Launceston teams, because despite the bigger names, if you will, being on the southern side, the midfield battle well and truly being won by the North right now. Yeah,
pretty hard teams to crack into, those Launceston and North Launceston senior teams. We know the names: Whitford and Coxgoodger and Walsh and Ponting and Burt, and you could go on all day, and that's just North Lonnie, so tough to break into for these youngsters, and just the two TSL clubs in the north of the state, of course, so it really refines the talent pool.
That's some pretty exciting young prospects up in the northern half of the state we're seeing here today. That much is clear. Umpires spotted something. Always a bit of a raffle, those ruck free kicks.
Yeah, they certainly are. I wish I could tell you exactly what it was for, but alas.
Ives will handball it back. Sanders punches one low. Just unable to complete the mark was Whitney. Handball out to Menzie, pushing up the ground to try and get himself involved. Now it's Pepin. Pepin just standing this one up, and there's a target at half forward in Dominic White. He's got a man on Davis in the pocket if he wants him. Ignores that. Instead, he'll just chip it short to the arc of 50. And a long way from home is Noah Holmes, but he has got a pretty good leg on him.
Pretty well held today, it must be said. He hasn't been overly dominant forward of centre. He's definitely crashed a few packs and made his presence felt, but probably just the second or third mark this afternoon.
So a chance for Noah Holmes to make a bit of a statement here. He'll kick from 50 out. Oof. He never looked likely. Skews ugly off the boot. It might fall fortuitously, though. It does, and the snap is offline from Jacob Young. A chance goes begging there for the South, and a badly needed goal it would have been. Well, that's a horrible kick out. Straight to Menzie. They might get out of jail here, although the ball's still in dispute. Menzie going after again. Great attack on it once more from Chug. It's super impressive. And they're off to the races now, rebounding off half back of the North. Streaming forwards with it is Chilcott. Got himself into a little bit of trouble. Got the handball back over to Chug, who continued his run. Turning inside was Stengel. And he found Bayman low. Got it moving quickly. Handball off to Dakin. Dakin drives it deep to full forward. The spoil comes, but it falls right into the lap of that man, Jonty McIver, who's kicked three. And the North skip 3 goals clear.
Well, he's been the game breaker, hasn't he? He's been a real handful inside forward 50, and once you sort of kick one or two, that's when you start to, I guess your teammates start looking for you a bit more, and the bounce of the ball sort of goes your way a little bit more, and all of a sudden things snowball and you've got 3 goals to your name. So, yeah, terrific from Jonty McIver, who's proven the difference here as the North skip out to a handy buffer. So a whistle here, as we just see, might be a 6-6-6 warning perhaps, or the umpire just checks things. So 6-9-45 now the North, the South 4-3-27, 14 minutes gone in this third term. Jackson feeds it out to Menzie, who kicks to green grass. Young couldn't bend down quite far enough to gather the footy. McLeod laid a tackle, reefed the footy out, and won a handball off. Couldn't find a teammate. Chance again here for the North to go forward. Short ball's a good one. to that man. Here's McIver on the left boot. Inside 50. They go now. Collins at the back. Just worked off a Garnis and shins it out of bounds. So a 3-goal advantage, which is exactly the amount of goals that Johnny McIver has to his name. The difference indeed. So just starting to really get on top here, the Northerners, as that's fisted towards the boundary. The Ludes, Bone and Lowe, who's also been pretty handy today, another one of the goal scorers. Ollie Davis has floated out of the game. Was very, very prolific early. Haven't called his name as often, certainly not in this third term. So away we go. A little one forward. He's chopped off by Pullen. He got it off to Ireland. High ball toward a wing in the Young direction. It's out of bounds on the full. Free kick to be taken here by Ives. He thought about Chug in the middle of the ground. They've really eyed off the corridor today, the Northerners. Left foot ball is a skinny entry, and it'll be punched out of bounds for another boundary throw-in. Left half forward for the Northern team, wearing yellow today. The Southerners in the maroon. Tasmania map jerseys.
Very schmick, those jerseys, aren't they? Do like them.
Yeah, I'm a fan of the alternate colours, it must be said. Nothing beats the traditional bottle green, of course, but I don't mind these as alternatives, especially the a bit partial to that maroon number. High ball inside 50. Reardon has work to do, but he did really well, working his man just underneath the footy and getting back and taking a saving mark. The kick is okay to Pullen. Now he kicks to Borsboom, who marks still yet to exit defensive 50 here, and this will come straight back because Sanders, who's probably been the best player on the ground today, will send it that way, and a man all alone. Wonderful vision, a great pass, and another shot on goal coming up here for the Northerners, and that was all set up by Ollie Sanders, who has been magnificent today. Cooper Warren has one to his name so far, and a chance to double his tally. He'll kick from about 45 metres out, perhaps a little closer. A slight angle. This would make it a 4-goal game as the North really start to flex their muscle. And he comes, sends it on its way. It's just sliding across the face, and it'll be a minus score.
Since about the 10-minute mark of the second quarter, it has been all one-way traffic this match. South started the second term really promisingly, but they are getting belted in most facets of this match right now. They're really struggling to clear half back. As slightly unrealistic attempt from Jackson. It won't matter because juggling the mark was Aganas, who turned back and send them forward once more. He just sets it up for the tall forwards to fly. It's roved well in the end, and the snap from Foley is not going to bend back enough. It's all the way out on the full in the end from Foley. They need a little more time than he thought before snapping on the left, and Will Collins with a rather dicey kick. It was a 3-on-1 up there, but somehow making it work was Jai Menzie, who's gone a long way up the ground trying to get himself involved. Little handball forward, found Jackson, who'll turn. He's running out of real estate there, but they've done pretty well by hand of the South. Getting involved is Ollie Davis. They need him involved. He chips it back to Collins, two of their prime movers getting their hands on the pill. That's exactly what the South need there. Stars to left here, and here's another one of them. Elijah Reardon with a don't argue, and he sends him deep to full forward. It's a searching kick, but always favouring back there was the defender of Blakemore. Coming through was Morris. The South win it back, trying to snap it forward was Pepin in the direction of Menzie. Picked up by Darcy Gardner, who gets his kick away just in time, and he pulls it back for the South. They get their fifth of the afternoon. 5-3-33, the North 6-10-46. A badly needed major, that one. And from about as close to the goal line as you could possibly get.
And we just saw a glimpse of Elijah Reardon there, didn't we, who just took the game on. And young Foley is a solidly built young man, but he was dealt with by Reardon with the fend-off, who might have caught him just a touch high, I thought, maybe on the way past, but Umpire with a sense of occasion said play on and let Elijah drive his team inside 50. So a much needed goal for the Southerners, who just peg it back. Back in the middle now. Intriguing affair unfolding. Here's Davis, who's working his way back into the game. Out to Tilly, who eluded a tackler and will send his team forward. Good mark coming out Gardner, who's been very good today. He goes one way then the other. Quick ball movement here from the south. That's a really good mark getting back Dakin.
Yeah, brave stuff there, Jared Dakin.
Put his head in the hole and didn't hesitate. Took the mark, but it's going to come back in here. Ireland got it to Pepin, outside of the right boot. High inside 50. Dom White will have to work. Couldn't get to the footy. Hands and knees now, trying to work something out was Morris. Players converge and a stoppage. So 2 in a row here, a sniff for the South. 20 minutes gone in the third term. Ethan Jackson read it beautifully off hands. He dumped a would-be tackler as well. Umpire said play on, went and roved his footy once more, but couldn't quite win the disposal out. So just maybe showing a little bit more aggression here, the South, taking it on, knowing they need to break something open perhaps. Garnison Steele in the ruck this time. Pullen missed it. Through came Hines, who gathered. He was immediately taken by McLeod. We'll have another ball up. 55 from goal. Left half forward for the South. 21 gone in this third term. 6:10:46 the North. 5:3:33 the South. All Stars footy under 18s here at UTAS Stadium. Now it's in Northern hands. Handball came out from Ives. It's in the lap of McIver, who has 3 for the afternoon and has provided the spark for the North and been a big part of the reason why they hold this advantage. Forward he goes. Maroon jumpers should be able to work it out here, but that's a pretty good result for the Northerners, who get the boundary line and will have a boundary throw in the right forward pocket.
Yeah, some territory gained here as they just look to relieve a little bit of pressure that's been built up in the past couple of minutes. The South working their way back into it, but still 13 points adrift. It's been the North on top for large parts of the afternoon. Coming over the back was Elphinston, but the clearance, well smothered, but they'll get a second bite at it. Ireland able to send it long. Attacking the ball was Chug, but doing well out the back here is Dominic White. Kept his feet, diving on it and winning it again. He might be in some trouble here though, Chug. Just got the handball away in time. That was a great attack on the footy. Good attack on the man there by Tilly, but didn't wrap him up. In the end, the kick skews out of play. Tilly, he's not had a heap of it, but every time he's been involved, something's happened. He took that wonderful goal.
Looks classy, doesn't he?
He set another one up and then charging straight at a man in Jaden Irons, who did not take a backward step.
No.
Tough customer. And it'll be William Pepin, who's been busy this afternoon. He jinks one way and then takes off down the line and just stands up a pretty ugly looking kick straight to the ruckman. Agnes, he sees it out of play. They are, you're right, you mentioned they're looking to take the game on a little bit more at the moment, the South, aren't they? They're really starting to run and carry. It was all a bit stagnant early on, but they have sensed the occasion. They've sensed they need to take a few risks to get themselves back in it. And that's just what we're seeing. The ball over the 2 ruckmen and sock it off the ground forward. Taking it now is Ashland. Handball back inside to Ollie Davis. Davis with a searching ball in towards White. Clever little fist there. Couldn't quite find Tilly. On the deck, scrapping away is Borsman. Again, the North able to take it away through Hines and then just massages one out there. And Ryan Whitney takes the relieving mark.
So Whitney, right half back. Minute to go. Gee, half a fly there from Baker Smith, but unrealistic, says the umpire. So free kick, Northerners. Hines showed Smith the footy, then went inside to Elphinston, who kicked inside 50. Fist came at the crucial moment. So ball to be won here. Well, Baden Lowe was the only one that attacked it, and he won the footy. Inside 50 they go. A fantastic kick to a leading target. They'll work this out, Pullen, looking for Davis, who just lets it sit for Reardon, and cool under pressure. He has Borsboom out wide. He plays on to Collins. Towards half forward they go. Chug is there, though, as he has been all day. Rebounding, but his use maybe has let him down a touch. It's not something he's excelled in particularly today, but he has had plenty of it. Has been pretty impressive. So here's that control that you were talking about, Drew, as they just concede ground all the way back to full back here, the Southerners. And there's the siren. So it's set up for an interesting finish. The North 6-10-46 to the South 5-3-33. They kicked 3 goals to 1 that term. And the man of the moment was Jonty McIver, who kicked 3. Bain and Lowe, Cooper Warren and Ollie Sanders have 1 each. Menzies, Tilly, Ashland, Ryan and Gardner, all with singles for the South. But games like this, where it's low scoring, it's tight, it's contested, you're always looking for a spark, and that's exactly what Jonty McIver provided in that third term.
Yeah, he was outstanding, wasn't he? Just all over it every time the ball hit the deck. It was a good marking target, and they just had no answers to him. Jonty McIver, the North really dominated the first 10 minutes of that quarter, and they put it on the scoreboard. You have a look at that. Clever little left-footed snap around the corner. He was absolutely everywhere, was Jonty McIver. His next one, even more impressive when he smashed one from 65 metres out, which took a nice little bounce. But they're the little breaks you get when you're playing well, when you're having a good day. Sometimes those things will go for you, and this was the goal. A wonderful piece of work there from Ryan Whitney with the smother. They just letting fly, probably to his full forward, but when you clear out the forward 50 arc and there's no one back there, these things can happen.
That's exactly right, and perhaps a little fortuitous, but 2-bounce goal from 65, he'll take that every single day of the week. Better players for mine to this stage. I still think Ollie Sanders has had a really big impact on this contest. Obviously McIver really exploded in that third term. Jaden Hines has done some nice things, I think, for the Northerners. Chug has provided some pretty good rebound. And Sam Foley as well, I think, has been impressive, really strong in the contest, and has done some nice things for the Northerners. For the South, I think Darcy Gardner has been excellent. John Menzies has been pretty good. Will Pepin has been nice. Sam Collins as well. And Elijah Reardon starting to work into the game. Ollie Davis has been... he's got such lofty standards that we judge him by, because we have such high hopes and expectations for him. Probably not his best game he's ever played, but he's still been pretty good, I think. Yeah,
I think they've done a pretty good job clamping down on him. And also, I'd say Agnes in the ruck's done pretty well to fight back after Harry Island was really winning that duel early on. The ruck dominance has kind of dissipated as the match has drawn on. I think he's fought back quite well in that department. And that's probably impacted Ollie Davis a little bit too, not getting first use as much.
It's interesting in these games, isn't it? Because obviously all these players, it's North v South, but it's all under the umbrella of Tasmania and under-18 talent, all headed up by Cam Joyce, the state talent manager, of course. So when you split them into two teams, do you sit a tagger on Ollie Davis, knowing that it's a trial game essentially? But do you sit a tagger on an Ollie Davis to see how he copes with it, or do you just let him run free and get 32 touches? Or it would be a tough one for the coaching group, wouldn't it? Because it'd be tempting to try either.
Yeah, I mean, do you want to let him play the best possible game he can to showcase his talents to the scouts watching, or do you go, you know what, you'll impress him a hell of a lot more if you work through a tag? Because that's something that the best players are going to cop eventually. And, it's a learning experience for him. And, look, I think Ollie Davis has done his draft stocks no harm the past 2 weeks.
Yeah,
arguably best on ground 2 weeks in a row in the TSL.
Yeah.
Certainly, I think Reardon got the 3 votes in the game against Kingborough. But for mine, I thought Davis was the best on in that match. And look, he can still have a big last quarter here. He still probably had a fair bit of the ball, but as you say, we're marking him against very lofty standards. Yeah,
absolutely. And you're spot on. Probably Team of the Year honours looming as well, I'd imagine, as well for Ollie Davis, depending on how he rounds out the season. But putting together a fine draft year. The other one, of course, as well, when you've got two split teams in a trial game is game styles, because I think the northern team has wanted to sort of come back into the corridor a lot. I think we mentioned the southern team seemingly have tried to hold possession a little bit more and then have tried to take it on in the latter stages of that third term. So it'd be fascinating to know what's being said amongst the coaching group and how the two different teams are being instructed to play, given that, again, they are all the same pool under the same umbrella.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. You can see the two different approaches from the two teams. You've got the South all in one huddle, the North breaking into their positional groups, and kind of getting different conversations happening. So interesting, the different approaches. But the South, look, they've probably got to change things up a little bit. A couple of goals in arrear here. They've not looked overly likely, but they're close enough if they're good enough, and if they can take the game on, take a few risks, maybe risk losing by 4 or 5 goals, something you've got to do, but might give you the chance to win it. Because I don't think the safe style they tried to play with in the first half is going to get it done.
And I think we're getting a snapshot as well, and we spoke about it during the call there in the third term of the State League setup in Tasmania, because I reckon someone like a Foley or even a Johnny McIver, if they were at a southern-based club, you'd know a lot more about them. They'd probably be playing more senior footy in the State League if they were based down south. But given they are based in the north of the state, harder to break into those two northern teams. There's only 44 spots in the whole north of the state to play senior footy at TSL level. So it's interesting, isn't it? Because we're talking a lot about Davis and Ethan Jackson and these guys who we see a lot of at senior level, but some of these lesser types we don't know much about are proving to be just as good. Can't
tell me that Jaden Hines wouldn't be running around in a couple of these teams down south. He's been really impressive, and some really exciting young talent playing in the development league squads up there. But as we said, more opportunity perhaps in the south, but the ones who do earn their way in, I mean, you're seeing it. Oliver Sanders, he's averaging 13 touches a game in the TSL for North Launceston, so he's worked his way into that really elite group, and you're seeing the benefits of it out here today. He has looked $1 million.
So players breaking from their huddles and making their way back to their positions. It's all set up for what should be a pretty interesting final term. It's been a pretty good standard of footy. The North with their noses in front, 6-10-46 to 5-3-33 over the South, who have hopped on the bus and made the trip up the Midland Highway this morning to have a crack at UTAS Stadium, which is looking pretty good. If you're just joining us, these are the maroon being worn by the South, and the Northerners are wearing the yellow jumpers. It is the All-Stars game, under 18s, next generation, the future stars of our competition running around today. As the ball is raised aloft and thrown up in the middle of the ground. So fourth and final term here at UTAS Stadium, and immediately the first clearance is won by Ollie Sanders, but only as far as Alomes, who's a nice build, isn't he? Looks like obviously a key position type, but he's been up the ground a little bit today as well. Short ball is a good one. Menzie got it to Collins. He kicks towards half forward. It's a target in Tilly. A little one inboard, just found Jackson on the bounce. He was good enough to evade a tackler. He went by hand inboard, got it back, did Jackson, just sends a scrappy one inside, and that's not a great kick at all. Straight into the awaiting arms of Lockie Blakemore.
Taken by Isaac Chugg, who has been prominent off a halfback flank here this afternoon. He'll just send it simply down the line a little. Flying was Reardon, and a good pair of hands there. We know he's a great aerialist, Elijah Reardon, and he shows that, and he can send the Southerners forward again. So look to launch an early strike here. He drives it deep to full forward. It's a good-looking kick just over the head of Holmes down there. Scrapping away, nice work, quick handball out, and it's a good one, and it found Tilly. He didn't have the distance on the kick though, and it was picked off on the line by Dakin. They'll take it away. Mate to earn that was Sanders.
Well done.
But strong again. It was Ollie Sanders. And doesn't show any ill effects of that knock afterwards either. Just straight back up.
I'm glad we're still not in the days, Drewy, where your size as a midfielder can affect your draft chances, because he's not the biggest man out there, is he, Ollie Sanders? But, gee, he's been good.
No, I think it's one of those myths that's been put to bed a little in recent times. There's a great chance here. The kick forward finds Lowe, and Lowe notices no one's back there, so he plays on and drives it straight through the middle. First blood in the final term to the North. They're out by 19 points. And Bain and Lowe, I think that's his second of the day, is it? And they have got the first goal here. That'll make it very difficult for the South. 19 points behind. They've only kicked 5 goals for the day.
Yeah, it was a little lazy there from the man on the mark, Thomas McGann, who just dropped his head. Didn't perhaps do what he should have. It was going to be an easy set shot, but you make absolutely sure of them when you allow the goal scorer to run in unattended. So first blood goes the way of the North, and now the South have a job to do here in Launceston. Out it comes, not 15, the call. Collins dumped, and he'll get a free kick. So the Cohen tackle a little vigorous. Sam Collins, he's been steady today. Probably hasn't been at his intercepting best, but certainly had enough of the footy, and he's a player that's they like it in the hands of. Lovely kicking action as we see here. Picks out a target too in Baker Smith, so good hands on a wing. Looks to go short to Smith. Ethan Jackson, who's had a fair bit of the footy today, it must be said. One of the overages playing today, him and Reardon. Just a little chance for scouts to get a look at these types, and he picks out a target inside 50. Pepin got some room and some separation, and he'll have a shot for goal from 45 out, slide angle.
Pepin and Tilly just all on their own there. I think the zonal defence just getting a little bit lost for the North, and two of them could raffle it.
So getting loose was Will Pepin. Devils player, of course, and played a lot of senior footy for North Hobart over the past 2 seasons. In he comes. Not a bad looking kick, but it's just sliding across the face for a minor score for the South.
Took the best non-mark you'll ever see on Sunday, did Pepin against Glenorchy. Well, he looked off there, but the umpire didn't blow him, so he'll trot back and he'll play a centering ball. It was a terrible kick, though. Went straight to Jackson. Jackson handballs off to Pepin. Pepin, another quick handball, turning into trouble and getting out of it was Ashland. He snap off line, though, and off the hands of Davies and out of play. A little bit rushed there, but a poor kick coming out of defence, just inviting all sorts of danger. And a ball in as the South, you feel, need to find a score here. They need to get a goal on the board and cut into this margin if there to be any chance. Goals have been tough to come by today. Taken straight out of the ruck and handballed back. It's a quick snap from Jackson. And it's through the middle, I think, from Ethan Jackson. He does pull one back. Their 6th of the day. They're 6-4-40. They cut the margin to 12 points. And Ethan Jackson has battled well in the midfield all day for the South. And now he gets himself a goal to show for it. There's no one contesting the ruck there up against Steele. And the handball, even after a little fumble, Jackson had plenty of time and space.
Yeah, he's just been steady today, Jackson. We don't have stats in front of us, but he's had a fair bit of the ball, and adding a goal to that always makes your game look just that bit more impressive, doesn't it? And that was a nice Rovers goal, so I reckon he'll be reasonably happy with his performance today. He's been good in traffic and able to ride the tackles and get his arms free and feed his teammates on the way past. So putting together a pretty solid game as Pepin just ducks the head, managed to get out of the tackle, fed out a handball. Here's Sanders. Gets it off to Hines, who kicks high toward a wing, off hands, Foley. He's been pinged, so good tackle coming from Ashland, who lays it off to Reardon, who steps inside and kicks to Pepin, who has also been pretty prominent in this second half. Pepin gives it back to Reardon, takes on a tackler, takes on another, takes a bounce. High tumbler towards forward 50. Steele was the target. Couldn't bring it down. In Northern hands now. Gee, flying across with vigour there was Ryan. Still at ground level. Davies picks it up. He's tackled by Ryan. Ballsboom attempts to run away with the footy. The umpire calls him back. Ball up here on the 50, attacking half for the South. Ryan, kick out of the congestion. Can somebody take a mark? There's Gardner. He battled well with a defender in McLean. Eventually it comes to ground. Big Noah Holmes says, I'll do the ruck work, and immediately gets... Well, he ripped it out of the ruck in the end, got it off to Jackson, who didn't quite take possession. Hines might have been taken high 2-3 times.
Surely.
Well, they sometimes don't pay those when they're deemed to have ducked into it, but that when you burrow the head and sort of lead with your head almost, but I thought that might have been high. Out to Jackson again, who has another snap-on goal. This one's on line. Man at the front was Steele, couldn't take the chest mark. Jackson getting his hands on the footy. North 7-10-52, a 2-goal advantage here. The South 6-4-40. All-Stars under-18s footy from UTAS Stadium in Launceston. Rucks go at it to the advantage. Cohen gathers the footy. And the long sleeves kicks toward a wing. Bouncing ball, kept in just. Might have been out of bounds. It was in the end.
Yeah, just couldn't quite keep it in play there as he surged forward. Cohen, or rather, was Stingle, is thrown into centre wing. Decisive fist forward, and it's bounced beautifully too. Handball off from McLeod, back inside and chipped forward, a one-on-one at the true full forward position. Well defended though by Davies. Coming through was Menzie. Handball back. Oh, couldn't take clean control there, Keegan Ryan. He's now besieged and he's got himself a big problem, Ryan. And that surely will be holding the football. Just tried a little bit too much there. And the free kick will go the way of Alex Davies, who chips one to half back. Sacking, showing good hands again, was Jaden Hines. Been really impressed with him this afternoon. He's a well-rounded player, and he'll send this one to centre wing. Favours the Flyers of the South, though. Jackson again laying a tackle. He's so tough in and under, and he's really lifted his game in this last quarter, trying to get his side back into it.
Yeah, he's been excellent.
It's been impressive stuff from Ethan Jackson. This one down, the handball back from Ashland. Here he is again, Jackson. Got a handball out to Ollie Davies, who got one to half forward, but it was well fisted away by Chug. That was smothered. The kick from McLean, and now it might fall for Steele, who'll turn, gets the handball off, found his man in space, just couldn't bring it under his spell. The big man, Noah Holmes, needed a small crumbing forward to be there, not the big power forward.
Yeah, I think Steele wheeled around, and you're right, he wanted maybe a Jai Menzie or someone running past rather than the 100 kilos of Noah Holmes. He's been a little bit luckless today, Holmes, it must be said, but half chance goes begging for the Southerners as it goes out of bounds on the outer side. Left half forward or right half back, whichever team you support. So boundary throw in here. 10.5 gone, fourth and final term. In it comes. So you just work to the front. It's the opposing ruckman of Ireland. Jackson, another disposal out here to George McLeod. Left foot ball inside 50 to a dangerous spot. It's all yellow. Gee, Pat Forms reading it best, though, was Menzie, who just had half a second to collect his thoughts and finish off. So Menzie kicks his second for the afternoon. And we've got a ball game on our hands here, Drewy.
Yeah, back to 5 points. They've been good in this final term, the South. They've really lifted after they found themselves on the back foot for much of the third quarter and indeed the second, but they've worked their way back within striking distance. They're starting to win that midfield battle. Jackson, we've mentioned, is really starting to run the show in there, and now it's the North who could do with a steadying goal, because suddenly they're finding themselves a little bit under siege. Jai Menzie, that's where he does his best work, close to goal. He was really pushing up the field earlier, so starved of service was he, but That's why they like getting the ball in his hands around the goal area, and now caught, and that's holding the ball, advantage played. They might get 2 in a minute here. Will the South chip to full forward? Holmes out attacking it. Oh, that's a high tackle. Has to be. Getting him around the neck was Morris. And a big chance now for big Noah Holmes to go back and put the Southerners ahead, which was unthinkable a few moments ago.
Yeah, who would have thought? But a couple of quick entries, free kick goes your way, and all of a sudden, a real big chance.
So he's a goal kicker. He kicked 28 in 9 games in the Development League last year, which is why he's put up into the TSL this year, where he leads the competition in contested marks. He is a giant of a 17-year-old, and he's put that one right through the middle, and it's the South in front by a point. Noah Holmes kicks truly. And it's the South 8-5-53 now leading the North 7-10-52. Well, they've been the better side for large parts of the day, but they need a response now. And I think they'll be looking to that man Oliver Sanders, who's been so good for them out of the middle.
Well, who would have thought 8-5-53, they edge in front by a single point with, well, we're halfway through the 4th and final term. Let's have a look at this centre square setup. Your man in there, Jaden Hines. Theo Ives to do the rucking. Baden Lowe in there as well, who's kicked a couple of goals, and as is Foley, the big body. But out of the middle immediately it comes via Riley Ashland for the South, and it looks like Sam Collins might have been moved forward, which is interesting.
The old flip the magnets.
Flip the magnets. So I wonder if that's a... No, it looks like he's... he's maybe heading back to more familiar territory. Just a little half step behind the play. Or he might run through the stoppage here, but it's immediately gathered by Tilly, who sends the South in side 50 once again. Gee, trouble here, and that is gone. Sammy Sheriff all wrapped up, and Holmes with a chance to kick 2 in a minute. Great forward pressure from the big man.
Jeez, you like to see your big power forwards doing that. That will impress the scouts watching.
I don't think he's 18 yet, so I'm not sure if we can even say big man. He's a small, big boy.
That's true, he's only 17. You ran into him in the street, you wouldn't think he was 17, that's for sure.
Absolutely not. So big Noah Holmes with a chance to, as crazy as it sounds, extend the lead for the South of the state. A beautiful looking kick, sails through post high. He has his second, and the South bounce out to a 7-point advantage.
Yeah, Holmes, 2 goals. Hasn't had a lot of service today, but finally getting some in this last quarter and really making one himself there. But that's what you got to do as a big key forward. You're going to make these moments. Initially made the spoil, then to follow up and lay the tackle and win the holding the ball decision. That is the type of stuff you see from your petite little small forwards, not the big focal point. So
coaches love that from their big forwards, don't they? Forward pressure like that.
Just sets the tone for everyone else. I mean, if he's doing that, then you've got no excuses.
That's
if
right.
you're a bit more nimble. But Noah Holmes stamping his mark on this contest, and suddenly the South are out by 7 points, and they're just walking the ball out of the midfield right now, although that one was left behind by Keegan Ryan. But they are absolutely dominating out of the centre right now, the South. The big names have lifted, and the North need to start winning a bit more at the coalface here.
Yeah, you're spot on. The last 2 centre clearances have been far too easy for the South, that's for sure. In it comes. Garnis and Islander. Garnis gets to the front, takes it out of the ruck. Handball to nobody in particular, though. There's Ryan. Good follow-up work from Garnis. Has there been a free kick here? Did he maybe collect him a touch high? I thought that was all pretty fair footy. Umpire disagreed. That's a dangerous kick looking for Davis. Here's Reardon, who's been pretty good. Takes on the tackler, as you know he will. Kick towards half forward. Falls for Borsboom. On his knees, sliding, turns around immediately, and inside 50 it goes. Gardner drops a soda. Well, he had 2 metres of separation on his man, and he's filthy on himself, as you can see. I think he marked that inside his head before he actually marked it.
He was already thinking about the kick for goal, I
definitely was. Gardner, he's a talent, but on this occasion just spills the beans. So Sanders out of the middle, feeds off a handball. Left foot kick now towards half forward for the North. Reardon affects the pack, goes and tries to scoop the footy up. Out it comes. Jeffries wrapped up in a Collins tackle. So 7 points to the good here, the Southerners. 17 minutes gone. They trailed at every change. Here's Ollie Sanders. Ireland, the ruckman, tried to take on the tackler in Foley. The whistle goes and he's been pinged holding the ball, as you'd expect. Sometimes you never know with the holding the ball rule, but you want to just gather himself here before he gives away a 50. But Foley, who's impressed all day, will take the free kick. So what have the North got here? They haven't had to respond to a challenge all day so far. What can they produce? That's a good saving mark. Getting back from Cam Owen. The kick is a good one to Menzies. As he's 2 for the afternoon, finds himself at half back here. He'll get onto his right foot. Kick wide-ish. A man out wide in Ireland, but Aganis knocked it over in the end. A boundary thrown in front of the interchange benches.
7 minutes remaining in this contest. We'll go to 25. No time on in this one, just straight 25 minutes as the ball's thrown back into play. Aganis want it down, although want it straight down to his opposing ruckman in Ireland. Coming through was Chug. He was wrapped up, just about getting the kick forward. Sniggle is going to come back the other way though. Time for Collins to assess his options, and he heads up towards half forward where all the numbers are with the South. That bounced very accommodatingly for Borsman, but he couldn't take advantage. A poor kick straight to Davies. Davies turns and looks to set the counter-attack away for the North. They do need to start moving it quickly. Great little take at ground level there from Dixon. Turns back inside and finds Sanders. Sanders doesn't see anything obvious and just has to be held up here. Eventually he'll switch it, so well done to the South off the ball there. Really shutting down the options for Oliver Sanders and halting that counter-attack. Chipped in the middle, they keep a hold of it. Sanders getting involved once more. His kick really made his teammate earn it though in the end and bounced off it. It fell back to Sanders once more. Once more his kick wasn't the greatest though, and intercepted there by Pepin. Pepin with a little chip forward. Extending the Dukes was Jacob Young. Showing some good hands today, Young, and his kick, I don't know that went 15, but it's been blown though to Samuel Collins. I'm not sure it did, but play allowed to continue. Oh, the little fake was nice, and turning back the other way was Tilly, launching from range, but it's off target, just to the left for a behind.
He's got a cannon on him, Tilly. Really nice long-range kick for goal. Out it comes. Here's Menzies, who dealt with 2 tacklers and got a handball off to his North Hobart teammate in McLeod. Holmes had 2 to contend with, shoved off his man, roving off the pack. Ryan, a little dribbler, just misses the mark, rolls into the post, a minor score. But the margin creeps out to 9 points, so still within 2 kicks here for the Northerners. They've got 5 minutes up their sleeve. Jake Dixon has it at right half back. A defensive-minded kick to Alex Davies. Has it in defence. He kicks up the line. That's a good mark coming across from Blakemore. So what does Blakemore do here? Up the line he goes towards half forward. 4 Maroon jumpers go up at it. Eventually ends up in Maroon hands. Spinning out of trouble was Baker Smith. Off to Pullen, who feigned one way, then went the other, sold his man into trouble. They'll emerge with it here. The Northerners through McIver. Kick towards goal. Tom White needs to juggle it, and he does. Gets it off to Collins. Just looks up the line. It had to be a good kick, and it was. Beautifully weighted to his teammate in Menzies. That kick wasn't fantastic, though. It ended up with Foley, who kicks a high one inside 50. Pulling underneath it. Just misjudged it, but still getting it to bounce for him. He's got 2 Northern players to contend with. It was scooped up by Cohen. He got it off to Dixon. And the mark has been taken now by McIver.
Jeez, I don't know if that was 15.
Well, a few of the Southern boys sort of looking around. He plays on immediately to Sanders, who fires on goal and makes no mistake. So a weird little patch there where we weren't too sure what was happening. Everybody seemed to stop except for Ollie Sanders, who received the footy from Johnny McIver and made no mistake. He's kicked 2 goals for the afternoon now.
Well, first off, that's holding the ball.
Well,
secondly, I don't think this is 15.
This hasn't travelled very far at all. It's probably gone higher than it has longer, and it's right on 15. Look at all the Southern players just stop.
But fair play there.
Well, perhaps some game awareness there that they'll learn from that situation.
Johnny McIver says, well, you all stop, I'll play on. I've been paid the mark. He picks out Sanders, who drills it through the middle. He's been very good, and now with 2.5 minutes remaining, it's a 3-point ball game, but the South might answer right back. Oh, he couldn't quite grasp that one, and the North might be on the counter here. They'll charge forward through Dakin, sends it to the wing, out in front of Chilcott, but leading up at the ball was Bryce Alomes there, and Alomes is going to get the free kick, and that will just halt the charge of the North a little. 2 minutes plus change remaining. 3 points the difference. Alomes will just send this one along. Down towards half forward. They all fly and it falls out the back. Attacking it once again was Chug. He's been very impressive, as has this man in Sanders. Oh, the handball was fumbled and a good tackle laid in the end by Keegan Ryan. The ball didn't quite stay in. It'll be thrown in half forward for the Southerners. A slender lead in tow. And the grandstand finish coming up here at UTAS Stadium. This NAB Under-18 All-Star game back into play. Ireland up against Elphinston. For the South. They work it forward. This man has been exceptional in the last quarter. Jackson retreated with the handball, and they've forced the turnover here of the North. Once again, Sanders heavily involved. Got it to Aganis. He swings it to half forward. Couldn't quite complete the mark. Cowan followed up, was slung off it, but then he worked it to McIver. McIver sends the North forward. Can they find the mark? They can't. Parked back there was Cameron with the relieving mark.
So short ball was a little sloppy. They'll do well to work out of defence here. Jackson back to Owen. Almost a juggler taken by Harry Islands. Pepin goes in after it. Aganis just held him off the footy. There was a whistle, and it's a free kick.
Yeah, slung him when he didn't have the ball there.
Yeah, one of those ones where he probably didn't know that he didn't have possession, but the ball had already spilled out. So dying embers here. Just 20 seconds left on the clock. You'd think the South would hang on, barring an absolute disaster for the Southerners. So bobbling around, balls boom, tackled. Players dive on top of him as the clock ticks ever closer. There's the siren. So the South pull off a comeback victory here in this under-18 All-Stars match. They kicked 4 goals to 2 in the final term to pinch a 3-point victory. 9-7-61 the Southerners, 8-10-58 the Northerners. Ethan Jackson, the midfield gun, put the team on his back and said, come with me. Noah Holmes kicked a couple in that final term, winning 2 free kicks to help his team over the line. There's the goal kickers. So Jai Menzie with 2 for the South. Noah Holmes ended up with 2. Tilly, Ashland and Ryan had singles, as did Gardner and Ethan Jackson. And for the North, Johnny McIver kicked 3 in a blistering third term. Bain Lowe kicked 2. Ollie Sanders kicked 2, including a late one. And Cooper Warren kicked 1. That was an entertaining game of footy, Drew. We saw a little bit of everything. We saw some of the real stars shine, but we saw some lesser types also really impress.
Yeah, absolutely. I think a good exhibition of some of the best young players in the state. I'm sure there'll be plenty of scouts watching on in this one who learnt a thing or two, and a few who've certainly put their name up in the lights. Oliver Sanders, chief amongst them. I think he was the clear best on ground today. I thought he was absolutely outstanding. despite his team not getting the victory. Ethan Jackson's last quarter performance was the definition of clutch, though. He just rose. They were getting belted out of the midfield for a lot of the day, not in that last quarter. Suddenly it was all one-way traffic the other direction, and that brought Big Holmes into the game. He kicks a couple. They get the win, but a really enjoyable contest, that one.
I reckon the coach, Cam Joyce, or the state talent manager down here in Tassie, will be thrilled with some of what he saw today. Definitely some bits and pieces to work on. Perhaps the exiting from D50 and some of the short kicks left a little bit to be desired. But at times, the ball movement, as we see here, and this wonderful finish from Sam Tilley, the Lauderdale young gun, there was some terrific ball movement. And, gee, I wouldn't mind being in Cam Joyce's position. Plenty to work with at the lower levels coming through the ranks here in Tasmania. Better players for me, I agree. I thought Ollie Sanders was the best player on the ground. A dominant midfield performance, 2 goals to go to his name. He just seemed to be absolutely everywhere, and he kicked a couple when his team really needed him to as well. Ethan Jackson for the South, as you mentioned, the best engine room player on the park, especially in that last term, and played a big role in getting the South over the line, kicked the goal himself. Menzies kicked 2. I thought Johnny McIver was pretty good, especially that he probably had the best patch of the day, didn't he, in that third term. Other good players I thought were Foley, who was pretty good. Sam Collins was solid as well. And Will Pepin, I thought, was impressive too for the South. So that's about all from us, I think. Andrew Cooling from UTAS Stadium, under-18 All-Stars, North versus South. On this occasion, it was the South that'll get back on the bus and head to Hobart with the bragging rights. They win by 3 points, 9-7, 61, 8-10, 58. Some of the stars of tomorrow shining bright this afternoon. That's all from us. Thanks for tuning in. We'll do it again next time. Bye for now.
The middle, Josh McIver finds the goal to get the Northern. Eventually they'll kick it down the line. It wasn't a great kick though. Almost let McGann in. Good charge down there. Lovely work from Whitney. And then sending him forward was McIver. And bounces all the way through for a goal, McIver. And they're out by 13 points to the North. He just put it on the boot, blasted it forwards. A bit of a fortuitous bounce. Sending inside was Stengel. And he found Bateman low, got it moving quickly, handballed off to Dakin. Dakin drives it deep to full forward. The spoil comes, but it falls right into the lap of that man, Jonty McIver, who's kicked 3, and the North skip 3 goals clear. I think it's one of those myths that's been put to bed a little in recent times. There's a great chance here. The kick forward finds Low, and Low notices no one's back there, so he plays on and drives it straight through the middle. First blood in the final terms have been tough to come by today. Taken straight out of the ruck and handballed back. It's a quick snap from Jackson. And it's through the middle, I think, from Ethan Jackson. He does pull one back. Their 6th of the day. They're 6-4-40. They cut the march.
Work to the front. It's the opposing ruckman of Ireland. Jackson, another disposal out here to George McLeod. Left foot ball inside 50 to a dangerous spot. It's all yellow. Gee, packed forms. Reading it best, though, was Menzies, who just had half a second to collect his thoughts.
Now caught, and that's holding the ball advantage played. They might get 2 in a minute here. Will the South chip to full forward? Holmes out attacking it. Oh, that's a high tackle. Has to be. Getting him round the neck was Morris. And a big chance now for big Noah Holmes to go back into the TSL this year, where he leads the competition in contested marks. He is a giant of a 17-year-old. And he's put that one right through the middle, and it's the South in front by a point. Noah Holmes kicks truly, and it's the South 8-5.
It's immediately gathered by Tilley, who sends the South in side 50 once again. Gee, trouble here, and that is gone. Sammy Sheriff with a chance to, as crazy as it sounds, extend the lead for the South of the state. Beautiful looking kick, sails through post high. He has his second. And the South bounce out to a 7-point advantage. 2 Northern players to contend with. It was scooped up by Cohen. He got it off to Dixon. And the mark has been taken now by McIver.
Jeez, I don't know if that was 15.
Well, a few of the Southern boys sort of looking around. He plays on immediately to Sanders, who fires on goal and makes no mistake. So a weird little patch there where we weren't too sure.